we're going to start Module 3. We're going to begin with Lesson 1, and we'll be investigating and using the formulas to find the area and the perimeter of rectangles. So we're going to start out. I'm going to draw a rectangle on this grid paper. Make my lines a little bit thicker so it's easier to see. Alright, so let's take a look at this rectangle and think about some of the things that you notice about the rectangle. So rectangles, I noticed that the opposite sides are the same length. It has 4 right angles. Here's a right angle. Here's a right angle. Here's a right angle. Here's a right angle. By the opposite sides being the same length, here's what I mean. This side and this side are the same length. And this side and this side are the same length. So remember, the definition of a rectangle is that it has 4 sides. The opposite sides are the same length. And there are 4 right angles. All right, so now we're going to figure out, we're going to trace around the outside of the rectangle so that we can see the distance around the outside. So I'm going to switch colors. I'm going to start at the top left corner, and we're going to count each unit as we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So to get all the way around the outside of the rectangle, it took me 22 of those units. So what do we call the measurement around the outside of a figure? It's the perimeter. So I'm going to say P for perimeter is equal to 22 units. It took me 22, I went by 22 squares to get all the way around. So I don't want to have to do that every time. And I'm not always going to have a nice grid that I can use to actually count. So we need to come up with a quicker way to determine the perimeter than to count while we're tracing. So I'm thinking about that. See if you can come up with a way that we could find perimeter without counting while we trace. Yeah, we could add the measurements of all 4 sides of the triangle. So when I counted the top, 1, 2, 3, 4 units. The measurement of the top is 4 units. So I know that by definition of a rectangle that the bottom has to be 4 units as well. So I can do the same thing with my sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units. If this is 7 units, then the other side has to be 7 units as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's true. So now if I add up all of those sides, 4 plus 4 plus 7 plus 7, that should give me a perimeter of 22. 4 plus 4 is 8. 7 plus 7 is 14. And if I add 8 plus 14 together, I get 22. Just like we did when we counted while we traced. The perimeter is 22 units. Now we're going to do something a little bit different. Now we're going to count the number of squares that are inside my rectangle. So these squares that are on the inside represent the area of my rectangle. So count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. There are 28 squares inside of my rectangle. So the area, I'm going to use the variable a for area, is going to be 28 square units. Now, can you find a quicker way to come up with the area than counting each square that would be on the inside of the rectangle? Yeah, to find the area, the formula that we would use is we're going to multiply the length times the width. So I can do 4, because our rectangle was 4 units long, times 7. Our rectangle was 7 units wide. 4 times 7 equals 28 square units. Okay, let's try another one. Okay, this time I'm going to draw a rectangle that is 3 units wide and 9 units long. My width is 3 units. My width is 9 units. Okay, so to find the perimeter of this rectangle, remember perimeter is we have to add all the sides. Does it matter the order when we add? No, that does not matter the order. So to find the perimeter, we said we had to add all sides, so we'll have the length plus the width plus the length again plus the width again. I could also write that a different way. I could say perimeter equals 2 times the length, because I have two lengths, plus 2 times the width, because there's two widths in a rectangle. Or there's one more way that I could find perimeter. I could also say perimeter equals 2 times the length plus the width. So we'll look at each one of those together. Okay, let's start with the first one. If I just simply add all the sides, perimeter is going to be equal to the length, which is 3 units, plus the width, which is 9 units, plus the length of this side here. I know that if the top is 3 units, then the bottom's going to have to be 3 as well. And this other side over here, if this side is 9, then this side will also have to be 9 units. So now I just have to add those together. 3 and 9 makes 12. 3 and 9 again makes 12. Then if I add 12 plus 12 together, I get a perimeter of 24 units. All right, let's try the second formula that we came up with. We said perimeter is going to be 2 times the length. The length is 3 units. I have one length here and one length here, plus 2 times the width. Here's a width of 9. Here's my other width of 9. So 2 times 3 equals 6, plus 2 times 9 equals 18. And if I add 6 plus 18 together, I will get 24. So the perimeter is 24 units. We found the exact same answer. We just solved using a little bit different strategy. Okay, so there's one last one. I'm going to move this down really quickly so that it's not jumbled up. So we said the last formula that we could use is 2 times the length plus the width. I'm just going to move that down. All right, so let's try finding the perimeter using this formula or this strategy. Perimeter equals 2 times the length. Remember, my length is 3, plus the width. My width is 9. So perimeter equals 2 times 3 plus 9 is 12. And if I multiply 2 times 12, I get 24. My perimeter is 24 units. No matter which one of those 3 strategies or formulas I used, I'm still adding all the sides, and I get 24 units. So how would I find the area of that same rectangle? Remember, area is the number of square units that are on the inside. It measures, perimeter measures around the outside. Area measures the inside. To find area, we multiply the length times the width. So area is going to be, the length is 3 units times the width, which is 9 units. 3 times 9 equals 27. So the area is 27 square units. Let's try another one. let's make a rectangle that's going to be all right, so here's my rectangle. My width is 5 units. So if this side is 5 units, then I know that the opposite side is going to be 5 units as well. My length is 6 units. So I know that the opposite is going to be 6 units as well. To find the perimeter, I'm going to add all the sides. Remember, we have 3 different strategies or formulas we can use. We can do length plus width plus length plus width. We can do 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. Or I can add my length and width together. Let me fix that. I can add the length plus the width together and multiply that by 2. So I'm just going to use that formula. I'm going to do 2 times the length plus width. So I'm multiplying 2 times my length of 6 plus the width is 5. I know that 6 plus 5 equals 11. So 2 times 11 is equal to 22 units. If I find the area of that same rectangle, area equals length times width. My length is 6 units times the width, which is 5 units. And 6 times 5 is 30, so my area is 30 square units. Notice I abbreviated square with just an SQ. You'll also sometimes see square units written as the answer, so which was 30 units with a little 2 exponent, which means squared. You'll learn more about that as you go along in math, but that's another way that you may see it written. It means the exact same thing. All right, we're going to try one more, and then you'll do some practice on your own. So we've discussed the formula for finding perimeter of a rectangle. We're going to measure the outside of the rectangle, so we'll add all the sides together. We found the formula for using area, length times width. So now we're going to do one more thing, and we're going to see if we can come up with a missing side. So I'm going to draw a rectangle here. I'm going to tell you that this rectangle has a length of 8 centimeters. I don't know the width, so I'm going to use the variable x to show what's unknown. And the perimeter is 28 centimeters. How can we solve for the missing side. I know the length is 8 centimeters. I know the perimeter is 28 centimeters, but I don't know the width. I'm going to use one of our perimeter formulas. I know I have to add all the sides to find perimeter. So if this side is 8 centimeters, then this side will also be 8 centimeters. If this side is x, the opposite side has a length of x also. So 8 plus 8 plus x plus x is going to equal the perimeter. I know my perimeter is 28. I'm going to keep that 28 here. I know 8 plus 8 is 16 plus x plus x. So I've got to figure out what's missing so that all of those four sides will add up to a total of 28. So I have 16 of the 28 centimeters that I need. So I'm going to figure out how many more are represented by the two widths. So from 16 to 28, so I need 4 more to get to 20, plus 8 more to get to 28. So that means that I have 12 centimeters left so that I can get a total of 28. And I need to split that 12 centimeters between two sides, between my two widths. This and this together have to equal 12. And we know that they have to be the same. Well, I know that 6 times 2 equals 12. So x has to equal 6 centimeters. Let's try it and see if we're correct. Perimeter equals the length, which is 8, plus a width. We said that we think x equals 6, plus the length, which is 8 again, plus the other width, which we think is 6. So 8 plus 6 equals 14. 8 plus 6 again equals 14. And if I add 14 plus 14, I get 28. So we were correct. The perimeter equals 28 centimeters. So that's just going to take a little bit of thinking. All right, so let's try one with an unknown side, and we know the area. Excuse me. So I'm going to draw another rectangle. This rectangle is going to have a length of 10 centimeters, an unknown width, and it has an area of 50 square centimeters. Remember, we know the formula for area is area equals length times width. I know my area has to equal 50 square centimeters. My length is equal to 10 centimeters. I don't know the width. So if I put in what I know, 50 equals 10 times what number? 50 equals 10 times what? Well, I know 10 times 5 equals 50. So my missing side, x, has to be 5 centimeters. If I substitute that in, I can check my work. Area equals length, which we know is 10, times the width, which we think is 5. 10 times 5 equals 50. So that checks out. We have an area of 50 square centimeters. All right, you're going to do some practice now. You're going to do the lesson 1 problem set. In your Learn book, that's going to be pages 1 through 3. And I want you to do all 6 of those problems. Numbers 1 through 6. Now, if you don't have your Learn book at home with you, if you weren't here at school on Friday, I'm attaching a PDF of those 3 pages. You can either print them out if you have access to a printer. You can write the problems, your answers down on notebook paper. Or if you have someone who can come and pick up a book from school, let me know and I will get that to the office for you to come and pick up. After you've finished your problem set, you're going to have a quick exit ticket in Google Forms that I need you to do after you've done your problem set. You don't have to turn your problem set into me. It's for you to practice, but please make sure that you do all the problems so that you know exactly what you're doing when we get back. If you have any questions, remember you can add a private comment on Google Classroom. You can have your parents send me a dojo message. You can email me, or I'm at school today. You can call the school. I'll have a Zoom open from 1 o'clock until 2 o'clock. The link will be in Google Classroom. So if you have questions, you can hop on Zoom at 1 or anytime between 1 and 2, and I'll be happy to help you work through those problems. All right, have a good day.